is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you out a quick video. We're going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks. This is a team that has a lot of hype. This is a team that a lot of people are looking forward to seeing. Is mainly because of the star. Luka Doncic almost became an all-star in his first year, was able to give you 20 points a game. We haven't seen that since the Blake Griffins and the Kevin Durant's, the Melos and the LeBrons. And most of those guys are either a Hall of Famer or on pace to go to the Hall of Fame. And that shows you how great of a player that, Denver was changed when they got Carmelo. Cleveland became a legitimate contender because of LeBron. The Thunder made it to the finals because they was able to pick up Kevin Durant. And even Blake Griffin was allowed to get Chris Paul. You don't get Chris Paul without Blake Griffin. And they had to draft Blake Griffin. He had to produce and show he can play. So that way Chris Paul will want to go there. And that's one reason why they was able to have a great run with that team, was because of that pick. And we all knew that Dirk was coming to an end. He was only going to get older. He had some nagging injuries, and they missed the playoffs the last couple of years. They was one of the most dominant and most consistent teams under, Rick Carlisle, Avery Johnson, and obviously Don Nelson. And it was mainly because of the great play of Dirk Nowitzki. And he was able to get players to come to Dallas because he was so great and people respected him so much. And he was a guy that was an MVP in the finals MVP, wasn't the most athletic, wasn't the most explosive, but he beat you with his mind. He knew when to get his shots. He knew where to get to his spots. And when he got to those spots, he was deadly. And I feel like Doncic is becoming that. Not only did he have a better rookie season than some of those guys, but he also was a better rookie than Dirk. And he learned, he adapted, he adjusted, and he showed that he can compete on this level. He even said the NBA was, easier for him compared to overseas because of the floor space. And him having Porzingis is only going to make it better, because this is a guy that can take a lot of attention off Luka Doncic. This is a guy that can create his own shot in the post. He can shoot over basically everybody. He can rebound the ball to a solid level. He can protect the rim, and he can play in the pick and roll, giving space for Luka Doncic to get the first steps, to get the ability to get that open three, to keep his the defender off balance. He can even do dribble handoffs and give Doncic a look at the basket or a lane to the basket. And that's just so much easier when you have somebody that just makes your job easier and makes you more efficient, because now you can get to the spots and get to the shots that you want. It's just about finishing the play. And that's what it's all really about, seeing the maturity of Doncic. He's a big guy. He's a guy that showed ability to be unselfish. He showed the ability to take over. He showed the ability to, blend in when his teammates had the ball. He was able to play off the ball. He was able to play on the ball and make plays, whether it was scoring or making the right pass. And I think he's going to continue to develop in that way, because they trusted him and they put the franchise on him, especially after they traded the load that they did, for him to develop into that guy that can be a primary ball handler plus a primary scorer. And that's important, because you want the ball in the best player hands. And if you don't have it in their hands, you want it in somebody else that can finish the play or can create a play. And I think that's why it's very important that they have Doncic and Porzingis. You need somebody to shoulder off some of that load. Plus, I think Doncic will make Porzingis' job a lot easier. Doncic got a lot of attention from the defenses because he did have the ball in his hands. Plus, he was the best player on the team as a rookie. And now that Porzingis is on the team, Porzingis is going to get a lot of pick and pop jumpers. He's going to get a lot of spot up threes. He's going to get a lot of lobs to the basket because of the attention that Luka Doncic commands. And plus, we don't even know what Doncic has been working on. We don't know what he's really going to improve on, because it's a mystery right now, because we haven't really seen him play that much, especially with his new teammates. And when you look at this team, you have guys like Tim Hardaway that can knock down shots and knock down threes. Plus, he can create his own shot. Plus, you got Seth Curry, another guy that can be a solid defender, but he's another deadly shooter that if you leave him open or you collapse the defense on Doncic or Porzingis, he has a chance to just set his feet and knock down shots. I also like Justin Jackson. This is a guy that no matter where he's out on the court, he's a weapon. He's not a superstar. He's not going to change your team, but he's a guy that you can trust on, and he's a guy that knows how to put the ball in the basket, whether he has the ball, plays off the ball, or just being a benefactor of the attention that Porzingis and Doncic is going to cause. You're going to have to pick your poison with this team. As long as their duo stay healthy, they're going to put you in a lot of tough situations where you have to trap, you have to double team, you have to sag off, you have to give space, and shooters like Hardaway and Curry and Justin Jackson and them, they're going to knock down those shots. I also like Boban. Boban allows them to go big. Boban allows them to have a injury placement for Porzingis, a guy that can shoot the free throws, a guy that can shoot over players, a guy that can even roll to the basket. I think that was very important, having a reliable guy that's a veteran that knows his job and not going to overplay it, plus a guy that can really be a legitimate backup center. He's a guy that's a potential starter on certain teams, and you have him coming off your bench for $3 million. That's really a steal in my eyes. DeLon Wright, this is a guy that has a lot of hype because they did pay him like he had the hype. And he's a guy that really wants to prove himself. He really wants big minutes. And I think they're going to need him. And I think that's why they paid him the money that they paid him, because he's a guy that can create his own shot. And he's a guy that can really play on and off the ball. He can play either guard position. He's a combo guard. And you need those type of players with Doncic, because if they close out to the three, he can put the ball, make a play, put the ball on the floor, knock down a jumper, or even get out in transition. And he's a guy that can be a solid spot-up shooter. And I like the fact that him and Curry can play together if you want to go small, with two guards at that shooting guard and that point guard position, and they can both play with Doncic, and that gives you another option. If Tim Hardaway goes down, you still have depth at that position that you can go small, and DeLon Wright is 6'5", so he can play that shooting guard position too, and I think that that's the theory and the thinking about that, um, picking him up. And then you also got JJ, who's another guy that can put pressure on the defense and make them collapse, make them commit, and then you can just pick them apart with the spacing that they have. Finney Smith is another glue guy that was under the radar. Nobody really talked about him. Nobody really say much about him, but he's a solid role player that can do multiple things, guards a lot of different positions, but also gives you a lot of heart and effort. Courtney Lee, we didn't know he was going to stay on his team. He was supposed to be a part of that Dragic trade, but he's another guard that can guard point guards and shooting guards, give you somewhat of knockdown jumpers ability, can come off screens, can fight through screens, and also is a guy that if you leave him open, he can punish you. And Rick Carlisle is an offensive genius. And I think that's something that we all know from the years of him being in Dallas. He knows how to get the best out of his role players. He knows how to put them in the right spots. He knows how to get them the shots that they need to feel confident. And he knows how to make things tough on the defenses. And now he has a lot more talent that he haven't had the last couple of years. And I think that this is just a year for him to really do a lot of experimental things and try a lot of other things, because he do have so many guards. He do have a couple bigs, and he do have a guard as Doncic that can play some two, can play some three, and also can handle the ball and make plays like a one. And that gives them another dynamic, because he's going to be a bigger guard that can really get to the paint, that can really punish the smaller guys, shoot over them too, but also play shooting guards and small forwards offensively and defensively, and that gives them another person that can really make a big impact multiple ways. And having those different type of dynamics and having those different type of things that you can always go to, or always trick your opponent, or always have a way to get a matchup to where it favors you and allows you to get easy buckets and easy opportunities, is always a great thing, especially when you're in the West and you need those small little things that you can always throw out there, or always blindside somebody, and it can always put you in a position to where you can go on a run if they don't make the adjustments or throw them off, where you can close a game with a lineup that people don't really expect or really know. So I think this Mavericks team is an underrated team. This Mavericks team is going to play very smart. I think they are putting a lot of pressure on Doncic and Porzingis because everybody's talking about how great they can and how well they fit together as guys that are very finesse, as guys that can really create their own shot and play off of each other perfectly. But they're going to rely on a lot of this duo. I feel like a lot of this team is smart, savvy veterans, but you also need the guys to make them who they are and get them to the shots and what they want to do and how they want to do it in their comfort zones. And they have that. Now it's just about, can they play enough defense? I think that's going to be the biggest key to them playing in the playoffs. And if they can make it, can they defend? Because that's going to be their biggest problem. They're going to score a lot of points. They're going to be a hard team to stop, but can they stop enough? And can they get those teams that's more top heavy in the West? Can they compete against those guys? Because the West is brutal, like we all know. So they can't really come in with a slow start. They can't really have a significant injury because they only relying on two players to do the bulk of the scoring and the bulk of the playmaking. And if one of them go down, it can really hurt this team. We even seen that last year. They was off to a decent start, and then injuries and stuff occurred, and they just fell out completely out of the playoff race. And I can see that happening. This team is good, but without Porzingis, this team can be a mediocre team. And with Porzingis, this team can be a seventh or eighth seed or higher, depending if they make some moves at the trade deadline. And I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is the biggest X factor. Will he be a chucker? Will he be able to play with Doncic and Porzingis? Will he be able to knock down spot up shots? Will he be able to step up in fourth quarters and be reliable and consistent? Yeah, this is a guy that can get hot in of a game. And I think that that's going to be something that's going to be very important to the success of this team is, can they get enough guard play and enough playmaking outside of Doncic and Porzingis? Can they get enough guys that can create their shots in the fourth quarter, that can knock down shots in the fourth quarter to close out games? Because that's very important at the end of the day in the West. You got to be able to compete. You had to be able to put up points, but you also got to be able to close games. And the West is just so loaded with duos and stars that we know what they can do because they've been doing it, but we don't know, can Doncic and Porzingis do it, because they just got brought together and they haven't even played one game together yet. So they have the most question marks. This can be a duo that's overrated. This can be a duo that's disappointing, and this can be a duo that can dominate more than what we think. And that's the question about them. Will they fit perfectly? Will they be able to play defense and defend at a high level? And can they really stay healthy throughout the season? Because they're going to be relied to carry majority of this offense in the load. And they're young. They both have had injury problems, and they both will be needed very high for this team to pull off a playoff spot. I don't have the Mavericks making the playoffs. It hurts me to say that. I know a lot of people disappointed, but when I look at the West, it's just certain teams are just smarter. They done been proven, and they done made it multiple times. And I don't really see that many teams falling out from last year, this year, unless something catastrophic happens to their roster. But you can also say, like I said, that about this Mavericks team. This team is very unproven. We don't really know what they're going to be. We don't really know what they're going to do. But they have a lot of question marks, and that's for good and that's for the bad. But we won't know until we see this duo play together. One thing I will say is Doncic is going to have to continue to improve because the NBA is only getting tougher. And they're going to need him to take his game to the next level. They're going to need Porzingis to be a better rebounder, a better rim protector, and a better scorer, more efficient, smarter shots, and knocking down the opportunities that he has, because they need them to be big for them to be able to make the playoffs this year. The worst teams in the West are competitive at best. So to me, there's no days off in the West this year. Everybody has at least 1 to 2 to 3 players that can really get hot or that can really take a game from them in the fourth quarter. So that's going to be very important. Their closing, their defense, their injuries are really going to be pivotal for this team to make it or miss it. I'm going to go with miss because I want to trust the veterans and the teams that have been proving it for the last 5 to 10 years over two guys that haven't did it just yet. What I will say is Doncic and Porzingis did show that they can win you 30 games. But can they win you that 45? Can they win you that 50? That's going to be their question in a tougher conference. Can they do it? And we won't know. We could all be wrong. and everybody else can be all wrong too if they was right with the prediction. Somebody got to be wrong. They're gonna make it. Somebody gonna be wrong if they don't. So this is a gamble. This is a crapshoot. Let me know what you guys think about the Mavericks in the comment section below. Like this video, check out my older videos on my channel. I have many playlists. I break down rookies, I break down players, I break down summer league. I do cover the draft, and I got a mock draft up already. Not only that, I do podcasts, and I also talk about the game of basketball, whether it comes to summer league, free agency, trade deadline, buyouts, and also I cover top 10 discussions and stuff like that. So you like this type of video, you like the NBA, check out my older videos and my playlists. I enjoy making these videos. You guys enjoy watching.